Good morning, class. Today we will try to understand the factors affecting the choice of capital structure. We already discussed this in the Zoom session, but right now I want to recap or whatever we learned. We will go till the sixth point, right? Now the first point is cash flow position. What is cash flow position? Cash flow position talks a lot about the liquidity of the firm. How far the liquidity is there. Since the size of the projected cash flow to be considered before borrowing, how much is your bank balance? How much is the available cash with you? Cash in hand should be as much as sufficient to pay off your debts. Right, the cash flow must be able to cover the fixed cash payment obligations, plus you have to have some amount as buffer. Suppose your borrowings enable you to have a EMI of, or the interest amount comes to close to 10,000 and your bank balance is 1 lakh, that is absolutely fine, because only 10,000 is required for the interest. But you have to remember one fact, that a company doesn't pay not the expense of company is not limited to the extent of interest alone. The company makes various payments like normal business operations, salary, wages, rent, electricity, internet, stationery, petty cash. So many expenses are there in business. Then there is investment. You have to buy fixed assets. Then the debt commitments are there, the previously taken loans with interest and principal. So many payments you have to make. After making all these payments also, if you have money, then only go for borrowing, because borrowing will lead to financial risk. Then talking about the ICR ratio, that is the interest coverage ratio. What is this interest coverage ratio? Earnings before interest and tax divided by interest. Earnings before interest and tax means what? Profit. We always remember simple division technique. Numerator, whatever is there in the numerator is divided so that that much amount will go to the denominator. Right. So the number of times, how many times earnings before interest and tax covers the interest obligation. That is the funda here. If you have 1 lakh and you have to pay 10,000, 10 months you can pay. Number of times, 10 times you can pay the EMI. Right. Then comes your ICR the fact or the ratio. See, first thing is, if there is a higher ICR ratio, then there is low risk. You have 10 lakhs in your account, you have to pay only 10,000. Yes, it is absolutely fine. Vice versa, if you have only 1,000 rupees in your account and you have to pay 10,000 per month, then it is a high risk. You have to somehow arrange for the balance 9,000 rupees. Right. Then comes the DSCR ratio. DSCR ratio actually compares. What does it compares? The real cash profits of the business is compared to the total cash required for the service of debt and preference shares. The real cash is not limited to the extent of profit made by the business. Profit plus you have something called depreciation plus interest plus non-cash expenses, all those things that are not shown in the real balance sheet liabilities side. They are not coming under the category of profit. You usually keep this depreciation. Depreciation means in reality, are you paying somebody? All the non-cash expenses like provisions and all, are you really paying someone? No. What are you actually doing? You are keeping aside or setting aside that much portion of profit so that in the future you can use it. That's called a conservative approach in accounts. But your real worth is 40 lakhs and you are showing that the profit is 1 lakh. No. The first thing that the preference shareholder will ask is, show me your DSCR ratio. The DSCR ratio will talk a lot about your real business strength or real financial strength. So whatever is in the numerator must go to the preference share, interest and any other repayment obligation that you have. Clear? So the higher DSCR ratio implies that you have more ability to make the cash commitments. And you have more potential for debt. People will be willing to give you debt because they will not look at your profit. It will only be a fool who thinks about that the profit is 1 lakh, so I should not give. A real person, a person who is having a financial knowledge will go with the DSCR ratio to understand what is the real profit. Real profit is not as that is shown in the balance sheet. The real profit is hidden in so many provisions, so many non-cash expenses that they make. So when you total it up, you know the real strength of the business, right? Then the next one is your return on investment. What is this return on investment? A return on investment is the ability of the firm to gain money out of the investment. Now, if there is higher return on investment, the company is in a better position. The company has got a choice because the equity is more, the EPS is more. Whenever ROI is more, the EPS is also more. That means there is heavy demand for this company in the stock market. Now, the ball is in the company's court. The company can decide either to increase the either to go with equity or to go with debt. Suppose it is going with debt, we also know, we have seen the numerical problem that an increase in EPS can happen because the firm can increase the debt. If there is increase in debt, there will be an increase in EPS. We know the debt equity ratio is 2:1, and we have done some numerical sums also related to this, where I have clearly told you that an increase in debt will increase the interest, and increase in interest will actually bring down the profit, thereby paying lesser tax. Lesser tax means more amount available to equity shareholders. Right? Now, cost of the debt. What is the, if the debt is available in a cheap way, market mein debt is very cheap, go for debt. Right, raising our debt is very cheaper now, so go for debt. If the firm can get loans at a lower rate of interest, then when you are getting at a very lower rate of interest, better go for debt. Then it increases the capacity of higher debt. Low rate of interest means it will attract, you can have more debt. Then coming to the tax rate. What is this tax rate? Higher tax rate is there in the market. That means cheap debt becomes cheaper. If the tax rate is 40% and the debt is only 10%, we better go for debt. Because at least if you pay debt, you can eliminate further tax. Because you will show it as an expense in P&L account. That means cheap debt means higher EPS. We have already seen in the numericals. Right, if I have cheap debt, if I have increasing my debt, debt is becoming double of the equity. 2:1 में debt है तो I will have better EPS. So in all situations, if the tax rate is high, always I will prefer to go with debt. Always I will prefer to go with debt. Clear? Understood?